Well, we may as well start with the obvious question, why we had 13 guys on the field. Get right to it. And probably what I should do is just kind of take you through the sequence of what happened. It was certainly not your normal substitution play. We had about 150 plays prior to that on offense, defense, and special teams, and both sides had no issues substituting, with the exception of a couple things. But goal line's always the tricky one because it's the furthest away from your bench, and it always requires a lot more big guys in the game. But it was kind of a double substitution. And what happened was there's 32 seconds left. They have their goal line in. We have our goal line in. They run a quarterback sweep. Nick Revesz makes a great play. And then there's a long pause. And, you know, it's that time where they line up, and it looks like they're going to clock it, and then it looks like maybe they'll run another play. So we have to get a call in. So we get our goal line, we call goal line, we call our call. So now the players are locked into the play. And then the clock's ticking. And then at about 15 seconds left, they change. They run their personnel on, they get their sub package in, and we have to match personnel. Otherwise, we can't have goal line people trying to cover their receivers. So we go to base. And we go to base, and we begin to run our base on. At 9 seconds, the umpire steps over the ball. At 7 seconds, he steps away. We still don't have a couple of guys are still getting out there. At 6 seconds, center goes down, snaps it at 3, and we don't get our guys off the field. So that's what happened. That's what happened. I was so engaged in the clock and what they were doing because, you know, we got others doing that. I wanted to make sure that clock and the snap, you know, I wanted to make sure the clock was going to keep ticking, to be honest with you. I've been around this business a long time, and sometimes those things freeze up late in the game. So, and it did. It kept ticking.
But there was communication from you to the box that there were 13?
No, not to me, because my headsets are all, I mean, when it, you know, boom, snap, you know, it was chaotic.
So why were you waving your players to get in the locker room?
I just saw this mingling, and something was going on, I knew. And I was like, we need to get out of here. You know, I mean, let's get out of here, man. We won. Let's go. So
something suspicious was going on.
Well, I didn't know there was a penalty. I didn't even know there was a flag. I didn't know there was a flag. I went over there and shake the coach's hand. I mean, I was gone. I was going to do an interview. I had, the CBS was right there, right? I mean, thank God I didn't do that. That would have really been embarrassing, you know? But, I mean, it was over. Nobody came up and said there's a flag. I never saw it. I don't know if there was a flag thrown. I couldn't see it on film. I think it just, they huddled up and said, I think there might have been. And then they went to the replay. So, look, it's unlike any situation you ever have. It was I don't think anybody knew. I don't think the other coaches, and they obviously didn't because they all cleared the box, I think, because there was no flag. Doesn't mean it was the wrong call. Don't get me wrong. And it's a reviewable call. So, and I think what really caught us, here's what I believe more than anything, is we made a substitution and we made a call. So you rarely change, if that makes sense. So in their minds, it was goal line, and I got the call, and now they're locked in. Well, that was the call because they were lined up like no huddle, ready to run a play or clock it. And so that's where it was unique. Now, we're changing. So the awareness, we got to teach awareness. Look, guys, you see things changing, we all got to go, there's got to be a little alert. Maybe we're changing.
So you don't think, coaching-wise, you asked too much in those final seconds of the player?
Absolutely not. I don't. Absolutely not, because that's why that rule was put in place. It's impossible to play this game if you don't match personnel. And to think we're going to go play goal line defense against their 11 personnel where they have 3 wides, who's going to cover them? We're going to put Malik out there to cover one of their receivers. I mean, that's why they put the rule in that when you substitute, you got to match. We obviously, should have taught and emphasized even more the communication of substitution in a pressure situation when the stadium's loud and you're far away from the bench. We just got to teach it better. I don't know any other way to say it. And it really hadn't been a problem. We did have the game where we had that one play where we had 10 and then we went to the field goal block. Hadn't been too big of a problem, but we obviously aren't teaching it and making them more aware of everybody take responsibility to look. And I think what happens is they lean on others to tell them what to do, if that makes sense. And we need all 11 to take individual responsibility to turn, get the call in case it doesn't get communicated properly. I mean, there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of burden that so many people have put on themselves for the game. And you know what? We all should. I mean, we should. It's our responsibility. So that's good. If it doesn't hurt, something's wrong with you. I mean, it's wrong with you.